Movie buffs, welcome back to the Movie Bay. In today's video, we're going to do a Take 10 on Demi Moore. Yeah. So without further ado, let's dive in and take a look at the Take 10 on Demi Moore. Demi Moore in her prime was just drop dead gorgeous. She still looked pretty good for a woman her age, but she's had a lot of work done, so it's not quite as natural as it was back in the day. Demi Moore was a fox. I mean, an absolute fox. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in and take a look at this banger from Demi Moore, Indecent Proposal. Now, this was a banger. This came out in wrong one. This came out in 1993. It scored a low 6.0 IMDb. I'm not sure why so low. This should have been at least a 6.5 or a 7. It was a good movie. It ran a 117-minute runtime, and you got Woody Harrelson and Robert Redford as her co-stars. Banger of a movie. I did this in a pickup video, and I think if I'm not mistaken, this might have been in my top 125. It might have been. This is a really good movie. So you got Demi Moore and Woody Harrelson. They're like a struggling couple. I'm not sure if they're married or not. No, they are married. My bad. They are, yeah, because he said for one evening with your wife. Yes, so they are married. Young couple struggling, trying to get some things going. They go into the casino to try to win some money. They bump into Robert Redford's character. He's a billionaire for all intents and purposes, either a multimillionaire or a billionaire. And he made an indecent proposal. You know, what would you do if I offered you $1 million for one night with your wife? He only wanted her for one night, and he was willing to pay them $1 million. So, but they went through with it. But of course, you know, there was a lot that came from that. Their relationship took a major hit from that. So it just goes to show that money can't, buy everything, So that's Indecent Proposal. Next up we have, here's another good one where Demi Moore played a really, really foul female. And this is Disclosure with Michael Douglas. So we have Demi Moore and Michael Douglas in Disclosure. Disclosure came out in 1994. It has a 6.1 IMDb and 128-minute runtime. The 6.1 for this, I would have gave it like a 6.5 because you got Donald Sutherland here. It's a good movie. It's not the best movie. This movie's been done a million times, but the way they did it in this one was pretty good. I mean, it wasn't a bad movie. For me, a movie is either bad or good. Not a lot of in between. It was a good movie. For all intents and purposes, this is a good popcorn watch. And Demi Moore character will piss you off in here, especially if you're a male. Next up, now this is probably, I'm going to go ahead and say this is probably her best performance, her best solo performance. Demi Moore got some decent performances. Not, in my opinion, not a lot. And this is probably one of her standouts. I don't know if it's her best, but it's definitely one of her standouts. G.I. Jane. Definitely a really good Demi Moore movie. G.I. Jane came out in 1997. It has a very low 5.9 IMDb. What's up with that? And it runs for 124 minutes. And her co-star is Viggo Mortensen. And I just don't understand the low rating for this. This movie was good. This was a good movie. It wasn't a bad movie or a middle-of-the-road movie. This is a good movie. And to see it only get a 5.9 IMDb, I'm not sure about that. But anyway, G.I. Jane's, you're going to follow Demi Moore and she's joining the military against everybody who don't want her to do. It becomes politicized. They didn't think she was going to cut it. She had second thoughts. She ended up saving a crew at the end. It was a good movie. All I can say is they really didn't want this female to do infantry. They wanted her to do something else. She wanted to do frontline infantry. It became political. That's how deep it was. This is a fantastic movie. This is a good movie. If you don't have this in your collection, you need to go ahead and check this one out. Next up is, now some will argue this is Demi Moore's best performance. I don't think this is her best performance. I will say I think this is her best movie. How's that? We could be fair on that one. This is her best movie by far. But I don't think it's her best performance. I think this is perhaps maybe Patrick Swayze's best performance. Second best if you want to count Roadhouse. But this is definitely a better movie than Roadhouse. But off of Patrick Swayze, because this is more or less about Demi Moore. and that's Ghost. Ghost was a box office phenomenon. This movie raked in crazy dough. It was the talk of the time when it came out. This movie scored great awards. This movie did really well. And Ghost came out in 1990. It scored a really good 7.0. I probably would have did like 7.2, 7.3 for this one. Hell, maybe 7.5. I enjoyed this one. Now, don't get me wrong when I say this isn't Demi Moore's best performance. It's right up there. But if I had to do her performance in G.I. Jane and her performance in this one, I would personally lean more towards G.I. Jane. Even though they're two different movies. But still, just the quality of the performance was good in both. But I tend to lean a little bit more towards G.I. Jane. Now, real quick before we get to the numbers, was this a better movie than G.I. Jane? Yeah, it was a better movie, yes. Overall. 1990, 7.0. It ran for 128 minutes. And it stars Patrick Swayze and Whoopi Goldberg. So basically, there was a robbery, and Patrick Swayze's character was killed, and his ghost come back. It's a phenomenal love story, one of the best love stories out there. If you're looking for a great love story, a movie that will just bring like that emotional side out of you, and you're looking for an awesome love story, you don't really get too much better than Ghost. This is one hell of a love story. Now, there's a lot of love stories out there, but Ghost is definitely ranked in the highest, in the higher strata of love stories. Next up is one that a lot of people probably don't know too much about, and this one is called The Juror. The Juror was pretty good. It wasn't a big movie, but let's go to the numbers real quick. So The Juror came out in 1996. 5.7 IMDb. I would say that's about right. This movie isn't terrible. It's definitely a popcorn flick. It's been relegated to the popcorn bowl. It has a 118-minute runtime and it stars Alec Baldwin. So this is basically about jury tampering. That's all it really is. It's a big case coming up and they need the jury. So you know how that go. This one here, I liked it. Now, I'm not sure how well this one did, but I liked it. And it has it's rated higher than almost everything so far. This is rated the highest so far. So I liked it. I'm not too sure how big this movie was when it came out, but this is flawless. So Demi Moore works for this big company. This is definitely a period piece. This is back in the day. Demi Moore works for this big company, like a diamond exchange, huge. Like a bank / diamond exchange, big financial institution. Michael Caine is a janitor there. But from what I understand, he worked for the company at some point in a different capacity, or maybe a different company. So he plans a heist. He gets her involved, and now she has to play it all the way out to the end. She wants to pull out, but it's too late. She's implicated, so she has to see it all the way through. Really good movie. It's called Flawless for a reason. You got to check this one out. I did enjoy this movie. I saw this some years ago. I don't remember all the details on it, but it's a really good movie. It's got great talent in it. You may want to check this one out. Flawless. Now, again, here go one. Now, arguably, this is probably the best movie with Demi Moore in it. So this is the best movie, in my opinion, with her in it. This isn't her best movie, because she isn't really the star of this movie. But if you talk about the best movie with her in it, this has got to be it. And that's A Few Good Men. So let's get to the numbers real quick. A Few Good Men came out in 1992. It has a high 7.7 IMDb. I'd have gave this a perfect 8, maybe an 8.5. It runs for 138 minutes. Tom Cruise, Kevin Bacon, Jack Nicholson. Fantastic cast. Now, this isn't really a Demi Moore movie, but again, there's not a lot. So to do a take 10, I had to use movies where she's like not even the first or second lead. She's like fourth lead in this movie, but I had to use it. It's a great movie. Those of you who know A Few Good Men, if you was to do a take 10 on Jack Nicholson, Tom Cruise, or Kevin Bacon, this would be in it. This is a fantastic movie, a phenomenal movie. The performance from Tom Cruise and Jack Nicholson is just legendary in this movie. Fantastic. It's about they're in a military. It's like they're in the military. I think they're in the army, and Jack Nicholson character issued something called a code red, and a cadet or a very young recruit died, and it was just the trial and everything, and Tom Cruise drilling Nicholson on the stand, and then Nicholson delivers the line, basically, you can't handle the truth, and that line right there lives on in infamy. That you can't handle the truth. That still is a thing today, way after this movie has come out. So yeah, A Few Good Men. This is definitely the best movie on this particular Take 10 list, but I had to use it. Next up is another one. Now here we go. This is another good one. Now again, she's not the star of this movie, but she's probably like third lead in this movie. Mr. Brooks. Mr. Brooks came out in 2007. It has a pretty good 7.3 IMDb. I agree with that. I think that's where this needs to be. This is an excellent movie. 120-minute runtime. You got Kevin Costner, Dane Cook, William Hurt. So basically, Mr. Brooks got two personalities for it shows what happens when you. It basically shows that people have two sides: a side that they keep to themselves, and a side that they show to the public. A fantastic movie, a great thriller, got a lot of action. This is a good movie. Mr. Brooks, if this one slid by you, you need to go ahead and find a copy of this and check it out. And by the way, it still looks really good on DVD. Okay, next up for Demi Moore, we're going to round out with two animated features where she was voice talent. The Hunchback of Notre Dame 1 and 2. She was just a voice talent in here. But I liked the first one. The second one wasn't all that good. But again, that's Demi Moore, and we're going to round out Demi Moore. That's the Take 10 on Demi Moore. Not a lot. At least I don't have a lot that stars Demi Moore. And that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Next up, we're going to do a Take 10 on Russell Crowe. I already got it written out. I got the movies down, so we're going to go ahead and dive into that right after this one. Thanks, guys.